Okay. I saw an LED blinking on the BlueSCSI, but why is trying to load from the network? That's not good. Hello, welcome back to NMI. This is the second part of my video on the NeXTstation. In the first part, we took a look at the history of these machines. We explored its hardware, the noisy hard drive I have here, and the BlueSCSI I have built for replacing it. Now it is time to check the operation of BlueSCSI and take a look at NeXTSTEP and learn why this OS was so ahead of its time and got NeXT an important spot in the computer history. That's not good. Oh, maybe because I disconnected the... Long story short, when I removed the battery, I erased the boot configurations, and after some research, I found that pressing Command 2 we can get into the equivalent of the BIOS on the NeXTstation, and from there I can reconfigure the boot options and set the boot device to SD0, which is the SCSI disk 0. Boot SD, booting, boot block, booting. Yep, awesome, it worked. Okay, now we're good to close the... Yeah, let's get to the point where the OS is loaded, right? Just to make sure that it's working. Yep, worked. Now turn off. Oh, I'm super happy. It's working now. I'm gonna close the case. I'm gonna move everything to the other place, to the other spot. What about giving me a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel? That is going to help NMI grow and give me motivation to make more videos like this. Thank you. This is NeXTSTEP version 3.3, processor 68040, 20 megabytes of RAM. I am not sure why it shows 0 bytes on the disk. It doesn't matter now. The user interface is like this. We have a bar here on this side, and you can have here the most usual applications. This is the trash can here on the bottom, and here you have the menu. The menu changes according to the application that it's running. Here on the apps, we can see some of the bundled applications mentioned by Steve Jobs in the launch. We have the Librarian. This is the indexing tool. You can see that it's still running here on the bottom. You can quit, and the Librarian here, it shows on the menu that it's still running. We can press here to quit, or you can do Command Q. There is also a built-in dictionary, right? And it's offline, so you don't need to be connected to the internet. We have a preferences application here that you can use for selecting a number of configurations, right? For instance, you can change the desktop color. Let's say this one. right? Let's use a darker one. I'm gonna do Command Q. Okay. We also have a mail, which is the email app, fax reader, an editor, and the terminal. The terminal is a Unix terminal. You can use Unix commands here, right? For instance, you can see all the processes running here. You can kill, you can do a lot of stuff. One interesting feature of NeXTSTEP is that the home folder for the user is at me. And I want to show, I have an application that I wrote, hello.c. We can take a look, echo hello.c. And it's basically an application that is going to print this string in a loop. And we can do a Control X to close this. And we can use the compiler to compile hello.c. Oh, let's first, you can see that hello, a binary is already here, so we can remove it. Now it's gone, and we can compile hello.c, and we can supply a different output file, and now we should see hello2 here, and it's a binary, and we can now run hello2. And since this is a multitasking operating system, I can come here and let's see, create a new window, and now we have the two processes running at the same time, right? You can see that it's slow. The machine is powerful, but it's not super powerful, right? And we can kill 242, the PID there, and that's it. Pretty cool. This is standard Unix. Now let me show you the developer tools. The developer tools are probably the best feature of the NeXTSTEP. So let's take a look at an example. Yeah, sound and music. Here we have the sound editor, and if we double click here, we can run the application that it's already compiled. I don't want to use it right now, but I want to show you, here is the project. And if we double click, then we have the project builder. This is pretty cool. This is basically an IDE, right? You can see the files here that are part of this project. This is Objective-C. You have classes because this is an object-oriented language. You can run the project from here. You can debug. Let's try debugging. So now Project Builder is building the application. Yeah, that's an odd sound. And here we have GDB, right? Pretty cool. And we can run from GDB. And here we have the application running. I'm gonna record something. Hello, this is NMI. What about liking this video and subscribing to this channel? Thank you. And here we have the waveform of the audio that we just recorded. It uses the frontal microphone on the CRT, and we can play it back. Hello, this is NMI. What about liking this video and subscribing to this channel? Thank you. That's pretty cool. Yeah, so I'm gonna quit the terminal. Yeah, quit anyway. So this is Project Builder. Now if we go here to Files, I want to show you another amazing feature of NeXTSTEP, which is the interface builder. So if we double click here if we go in interfaces and double click one of these NIBs here, these are our application screens. And here we have our application. And here it's a completely visual tool that you can use to design the UI of your application. But this now is very common, but here we are talking about 1990, and that was pretty new and very cool. I would have loved to use something like that. Back then, the languages that I was using, they were basically like Turbo C and this kind of stuff, and it was not visual at all. Well, I barely had Windows back then, right? So this is one of the main features, and technically speaking, it's one of the most advanced features of NeXTSTEP in terms of application side, right? Development side. That was one of the main features of NeXTSTEP. So that's what I wanted to show you. Let's close the Project Builder. Now let's take a look at some games. Oh no, before we go to the games, I want to show you another important feature of NeXTSTEP. For instance, one application that was very nice and very powerful back then, FrameMaker. I read somewhere that each software used FrameMaker to write game manuals, including Doom. Okay, let's load this demo document. And here you have a document. This is again very common these days, but back then this was pretty new, a new concept. Here you can basically design documents as they will look when they are printed. Okay, again, bleeding edge technology. This was not exclusive to NeXTstation, of course, but having it available on NeXTstation was for sure a lot of added value. Another very important feature of the NeXTstation is the connectivity, right? Right now my NeXTstation is connected to my local network, and if we take a look, we can see here that it has an IP, and we can ping, for instance, google.com. That's pretty cool, right? So it has the TCP/IP stack. And another thing that I want to show you is, this time this is on a CD-ROM, and now I want to explain how, like, the NeXTstation doesn't have a CD-ROM, but the BlueSCSI can emulate CD-ROMs, and I created some CD-ROM images on my Linux machine, and that's pretty simple to do. You compile a bunch of files into an ISO image, and then I added those images inside a folder on the SD card, and the BlueSCSI is gonna sort them. So every time I open the CD-ROM here, for instance, the first time I'm opening it here, it has my data, the ISO that I created with software, right? If I go to disk here and eject this CD, this virtual CD, BlueSCSI is gonna unload this image and load the next image, right? I'm not gonna do that right now, but I'm gonna show you that later. Let me now show you the first web browser, which was developed at CERN, and it's called WorldWideWeb. And it's a fun fact, we use www because of this browser, right? Because this browser is named WorldWideWeb, and that's where www came from. Pretty cool. If we navigate here, what I found is that this browser unfortunately can't open most of the pages that I tried. For instance, if we try never SSL, we get a bad request, and that's happening to most websites. The only website that I managed to get something is at least some response that's not an error is Google. And here we get the response. Probably it can't render because there's a lot of stuff it doesn't understand. But we can see here, is that a hyperlink? No, the hyperlinks are not working. Yeah, but that's it. It's pretty cool. Unfortunately, there's not much we can see and understand. But let me show you a web browser that is actually working on the next. Oops, this one here. This is OmniWeb, and we can navigate to other websites, for instance Google, and it's able to render properly. See, pretty cool. Unfortunately, if we try to search something, oops, yeah, there's a typo there, but it's not going to work anyway because it needs JavaScript to work. And it also doesn't support HTTPS. So most of the modern websites you're not gonna be able to navigate. It didn't work. Embedded systems.io. Yep, it's loading. This is my blog. Yeah, it's slow. It's still loading the picture, the banner, but it works. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now, enough of software stuff. I want to show you some other cool things that the NeXTstation can do. So I'm gonna go here to my folder. Oh yeah, we have my application here, but that's not it. I'm gonna go to apps. First, I'm gonna show you something that I really like. The NeXTstation is very capable of doing, which is playing mod files. It can play mod files, and this mod player here can support a lot of different extensions. Oh, but for that I want to do another thing. I want to swap my CD. So we're gonna eject the CD, and BlueSCSI is gonna load the next image, and here it is. Oh, this is the installer of FrameMaker. That's not what I want. So another, we can do Command E to eject. That is also the same thing that you do to eject floppy disk, which, by the way, the floppy drive can read, and the NeXTSTEP can read DOS disks. And here we have my, so this is another image, another virtual CD-ROM with mod files. And now I want to play something. We navigate to the CD-ROM, and I'm gonna play something that you probably know if you watch my channel. Let's try another one.
The biggest unanswered question is where is the money?
Pretty cool, isn't it? But the NeXTstation can also play MP3s, and that is extremely cool. And I am going to show you that the NeXTstation can play MP3s. There are some artifacts, but still, and I don't think this is even using the DSP. I'm not sure, but I don't think it uses the DSP. Pretty cool, isn't it? Now, let's have some fun. One other extremely cool thing that was designed on a Next machine, again, not a NeXTstation like this. I believe it was a NeXTstation Color or a Turbo Color, I'm not sure. But ID or id Software wrote Doom on a Next machine. And let me show you. So let's go to my applications. And here we have Doom. And it's here, Doom in monochrome. I hope it's visible. Unfortunately, I could not make the sounds work yet, but the game is working. It obviously looks much better, or probably looks much better on a color machine, but it's pretty cool. Let me show you now a another game that is designed for this machine. And I find this game pretty cool. You can do Command N. The sound is pretty nice. Pretty cool game. Yeah. That's enough. Command Q. Another nice game on the NeXTstation is Missile Command. This is too far. If you have any comment or you have another game that you like on the NeXTstation, please let me know in the comments. Now let's take a look at Pacman. A very nice implementation on NeXT. Oh, I could go for hours exploring the NeXTstation, but this video is already too long. I would definitely make more videos on this amazing machine, but for now, thanks for watching, and again, if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to NMI, and enable the notifications so you don't miss my next videos. See you next time. Bye!